Hi, I am back. It's Monday at 11. So today we're continuing talking about overcoming overwhelm and how to do that. And today I'm going to be talking about how do you get rid of the shoulds, and a lot of us have heard the phrase don't should on yourself. And what does that look like when you live in a way where you're not shoulding on yourself, where you're knowing that you're where you're supposed to be? If we're going to overcome overwhelm and have peace and have confidence about where we are in our business and our life, we have to know that there's not something else we should be doing or could be doing or chasing shiny objects, right? We need to have peace that I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now. And those are the things that we've been talking about in this whole series. And it's going to be a couple more weeks to the end of March. And then I'm going to have a workshop, Kick Overwhelm to the Curb. So today, the idea of not shoulding on yourself, of quieting the shoulds, of having peace in your mind instead of like all the things that you could be doing, because there's a gazillion of them around us. I want to talk about that today because really we live kind of like in the best of times and in the worst of times, right? Like we can do anything, which is amazing and incredible. I'm looking at see if there's any comments. We can do anything. We can live wherever we want. As women, we can work wherever we want. Even as men, we have so many options, but it can also drive us crazy because then we're like, okay, am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing the thing I'm supposed to be? I could be working online or working physically with people in person. I could be, should I live in that state? Should I live in that state? Should I be a nomad? Should I be settled, right? We have so many options that it can drive us crazy. And then the other thing is we see people around us and they're doing this amazing thing. And they're like, here's my program to do this amazing thing, just like I do. And if we're in business, and then we're marketing our business and we're branding our business and we're selling, everybody's saying do it a different way, right? There's so many options like, oh, you should do videos. Oh, you should be on Instagram. Oh, you should be on Facebook. And if we listen to everything around us, we will go crazy. And if you want to have peace and not be anxious, you've got to understand like your thing instead of all the things. So how do you do that? I'm going to share a few things. So what I do with clients and what I do in my own life, right? In order to figure out what I'm supposed to do and not pay attention to everything outside of me, I have to find the answers within, right? So how do you do that? And I call this your intuition. Some people call it their gut. Some people call it God or the universe or a still small voice, whatever you call it. I just call it intuition. It means all the same things to me. And it's really important and powerful. And I find, when I study really successful people, whether in relationships or business or in their life in general, they listen to that, right? We have to find the answers within. So here's 4 things that you can know about your intuition. It's a practice. I find a lot of people feel like, one day they're going to get a message, and they have to listen to it. Like if there's 2 options, turn this way or turn this way, you're going to get a message. And if you screw up and you don't turn down the right path, you're doomed forever. And it's not like that at all. Listening to your intuition is just like building a relationship with someone, right? You learn how they speak. You learn how to be in relationship with them. You practice, and you don't always hear right because we have our fears get in the way or other people's opinions get in the way. It's a practice of learning how that voice comes to you, how that information comes to you. Some people feel it more in their heart. Some people feel it more in their gut. So it's a practice, and knowing that takes a bit of pressure off. Like if you mess it up, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So there's one comment. Yeah, Sheila, thanks. Unlimited choices can be overwhelming. There's a book a couple of people have mentioned to me, and I haven't read it, but it's called The Tyranny of Choice, right? If you have 85 things to choose from, your brain really, ideally, our brains love 1 or 2. So when we have all those options, we've got to learn how we can make a confident decision, how we can know what direction is best for my life, and then pick that one thing and move forward with it, regardless of all the noise around us. So another thing to know about connecting with that knowing, that intuition, is it's a relationship and you cultivate it. So a lot of times, we think about prayer, right, as like talking and asking, or any relationship with anybody, right? You can't just talk and ask all the time. It can't be one-sided. You've got to be listening. You've got to have time set aside where you're listening. That's how you cultivate it. And the only way it gets better, the third thing is the only way it gets better is by practice and using it. And then knowing that there's this part of you that knows the best path for your life. That's the fourth thing, is this part, your intuition or the universe or your guidance or your gut or whatever it is that you want to call it, whatever resonates with you. God knows the exact right path for your life, the exact right thing that's best for you, that leads you exactly to your goals, exactly to success. And that's this process, is learning to trust that. Sometimes we hear something, or we get a knowing about something, and then we're like, oh, I don't understand how that's going to work. Is that really going to work? Is that really what's best for me? But you begin to trust that yes, it is, even if it isn't what we expect or what we thought things would look like. When we practice and we cultivate this relationship and we practice listening, we begin to trust that there's part of us that knows exactly where we need to be going and the best path for our life. So that's some things you can know about connecting to your intuition. And the next thing I wanted to share today is what's a good way to actually connect with it. So the main thing is to stop a second and pause and get quiet. And it's very basic and it's very simple, but we don't do it, right? Our lives are crazy busy and we're filling them, when we do have downtime, a lot of times we're filling them with scrolling or, doing work or, whatever it is. So it's taking time. It can be 5 minutes, taking time to actually get quiet. It's the most powerful thing that you can do, especially in our crazy world. Getting quiet is really, really powerful. And then just breathe. Like take a couple deep breaths. And that settles you. Like just doing that settles you a little bit. And then ask yourself, this is what I ask myself all the time. This is when I practice, when I work with clients, we actually practice this because I think it's really important. And we ask all the time. The first question is, what do I need to know right now? And then listen, take some time and listen for the answer. What do I need to know right now? You can write it down, or you can just remember what you're hearing, what's coming up. And you can kind of differentiate. The other thing is, the idea of your gut or the intuition, it's kind of more your heart or your stomach area. Our brain just spins. It spins and spins and spins. And like, what if, and what's going to happen? And I don't know, and all of these things. And so it's the idea of just breathe and imagine going more into your heart and your gut instead of your brain. And continue the conversation. So you listen and something comes up. And then maybe you have a question about that. Ask a question about it. Get clarity. Ask, what else? What else do I need to know about that? What does that look like? Just like you would have a conversation. You can do that with yourself. And it's very powerful. Instead of all of the things around us saying, here's what you should do, and this is what I did, and it really worked, and this was really powerful for me, and buy my thing, and this works, and everything else is done, right? All of these things around us on the outside, you get quiet and you listen on the inside. What do I need to know right now? Just take a breath and listen to what comes up. And you can do this many times throughout a day. I always do this, when you need to make a decision about something. We need to make a decision about who we're going to work with, or what strategy we're going to use, or what plan that we need, or what conversation we are going to have, or maybe we need to set a boundary with someone. What do I need to know right now? It's a powerful practice to get wise answers. So you're not just reacting, and you're also, the idea of listening to everybody else around us, that's their life. You need to find what's best for your life to really feel like I'm right where I need to be right now. I'm on the right path. You've got to listen to yourself and learn to trust yourself for that. So this is what that looks like when you ask, what do I need to know right now? and it's a practice. So I would encourage you to just start practicing right away. And I love this quote from Carl Rayner: in the days ahead, you'll either be a mystic or nothing at all. And I know that sounds crazy, but when we have this tyranny of choice, we have to find a way to figure out our choice. And there's a gazillion choices. We have to figure out, how do I make my choice? How do I find the one that's right for me? So there was a study, I don't know what university or what organization did the study, but out of the CEOs who scored high on their intuitive and precognitive tests, 80% of them had previously doubled their company's profits in the last 5 years. And that was Vishaan Lakhiani shared that quote and that experience. But this idea, a lot of times people can think, oh, trusting your intuition is like woo or, different or something. But it's how people succeed in business. It's how people know how to do the right thing at the right time. It's how I know how to be on my path and not losing sleep every night because I think maybe I'm on the wrong path. It's how I avoid shiny object syndrome, right? So it's a powerful thing that we can do when we get taking that time. We just get quiet and we take that time and we listen. It quiets your brain, because our brains can just be really loud with like, how's that going to work and what's going to happen and everything. So this is a way to just get quiet and find a calm, peaceful answer that's right for you. So this is something I would encourage you to practice today. Just ask, what do I need to know right now? And again, I'm going to share what I've been sharing each week is this workshop coming up March 29th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I would love for you to join me. We're going to talk more. I'm going to have a workbook. We're going to be talking about how to master our emotions, master our mindsets, and then connect with our intuition. We're going to have a section on that, and I'm going to have some exercises for you, and then a visualization to be able to connect with that. So if you're able to, I would love to see you there. And please, if you're listening to this afterwards or in the comments, share what comes up. Is there anything surprising that came up, or do you have a practice of connecting with your gut or your heart or your intuition regularly? I would love to hear any of that. And I hope that you have a fabulous Monday.